Here we go. So, on this episode of Bulletproof Mindset Live, I had to bring on one of my favorite people in the whole world, my personal coach, good friend, mentor, Chris Patterson of Live Large Coaching. He's helped me so much over the past, what has it been, a year and a half, 2 years almost now? More than double. Exactly, exactly. So, first of all, man, Chris is a great coach, owner of Live Large Coaching, which I am a part of, and some of my fellow marketer friends and other folks are a part of. Not to mention, he's one of the baddest marketers on the planet. Generated over 1.4 billion in sales for his clients. Is that about right? That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, one of the things, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on, one is because, again, when it comes to mindset, I lean on you heavily for that. I like your terminology and what you use and how you coach me. Mind knots is a huge thing, and I like how you find a way to work with me and other people that are under your umbrella and find a way to untie those mind knots, as you like to call it. Hold on, Chris. Hold on 1 second. I got something said that they can't hear you, so let me fix that right now. Properties. Good thing I checked. Let's see. Monitor off. It says monitor only. Monitor off. All right. See if they can hear you now, guys. Can you hear?
Check 1 2. Check checkers. Czechoslovakia. Check it out. Checkmate.
And what I'm gonna do is give me 1 second. I put something in the chat. Plus, I'm gonna go over here. All right. See if they can hear you now, guys. Can you hear something now,
Good.
Chris?
We good. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Czechoslovakia. Check 1 2. Everybody hear me? Checkmate.
Yep. I can hear
right.
you, but not him. Oh, so Mike says he still can't hear you. Let me try one more thing here.
All right. Bear with us, folks. It'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. Chris is the man. Let's see. I know they can hear you now.
Check 1 2. Hey, everybody.
Oh, so Mike says yes. Mike can hear you. Does he sound like? Do you hear an echo, Mike? Let me know if you hear an echo because I just changed the settings again, and because I don't want you guys to miss anything of what Chris is talking about. Because he said yes, he could hear you before I made the switch. Anybody?
Check 1 2. Everybody hear me?
I think we're good. Let me double check on my end. Because he said yes, he could hear you before I made the switch. Anybody?
Check 1 2. Everybody.
Yep, we can hear you now. All right, awesome.
All right.
So yeah, let's go ahead and go into the story, man. What were you going to tell the folks?
Yeah, so you were asking kind of my approach to coaching and mind knots and mindset and all that kind of thing. And really, the way I like to look at coaching is, quick story: man comes home one day, he gets a 1,000-piece puzzle for his son, and he brings it home. It's the map of the world, and he says, "Son, here you go. If you can finish this in under an hour, I'll give you $10." The kid's like, "All right, Dad, let me go do it." So he goes in his room and he starts messing around. And about 20 minutes later, he comes out and he says, "Dad, I'm done." And Dad looks at him and says, "It's impossible. It's too big of a puzzle. There's no way you could do it." He said, "Dad, it was actually really easy because when you flip the map over, on the other side was a picture of a man. And all I had to do was put the pieces together to make the man right. And once he was right, I could flip it over and his world was right." So that's a lot what I'm trying to do is help people uncover what are their self-limiting beliefs, what's holding them back, what kind of breakthroughs do you need to experience? And of course, you've been with me long enough, you've seen all those things play out and how much of an impact it has on life and business.
Definitely so. So with that being said, how can you help people with what's going on now, apply that in their daily lives to help them keep moving forward. Um,
Yeah, you know what? I mean, first and foremost, I think it's absolutely normal to be fearful, but we can't let fear grip us. We can't go into paralysis because of it. So, a few things that I like to do anytime there's challenging times. And by the way, guys, I'm 50 years old. I've been around. I've been here for a minute. I've seen things come. I've seen things go. So, uh, my first point really is realize that this too shall pass. All right. So we've been through World War I. We've been through World War II. We've been through 9/11. We've been through the AIDS epidemic. We've been through the housing collapse. We've been through it all. And here we are. We're still here. All right. Now, that doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of calamity and tragedy and everything else that happened along the way. I completely understand that. I'm not coming at this with a Pollyanna view of life. I understand the realities of those challenges and crises. And we're going to face some serious challenges and crises because of what we're dealing with right now. However, it will pass. So keep that in the back of your mind. We're not going anywhere. The American spirit is strong, it's alive. I think it's probably more well than we even know right now. So hang in there. Things are going to get better.
so if people needed help with that, like, like I said, I'm already with you, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for you, and I sing your praises everywhere I go. If people need some help with that to get that, to get that mindset squared away, what's the best way for them to get a hold of someone like you so you can help them out?
I mean, probably the easiest way is just shoot me an email, ceo@interchanges.com. Or if you want to watch, I got a 5 shifts to success. I created a webinar. It's a free online training, and you can go check that out at livelargeacademy.com. And then at the end, if you do want to book a 30-minute consultation with me, it's no charge, just to meet you and try to help you game plan and make some breakthroughs here. So that's how you can get a hold of me.
That's how our relationship started. First of all, I had you on Bulletproof Mindset. I want to say it was number 60. I try to remember all the numbers, and we did an interview there, and it went really well. And I was telling the story yesterday. You and I talked, and I was making some pretty decent money, but you thought I was making like 4 times, 5 times more than what I was actually making. And you was just like, "Hey, man, like, you deserve this." And I was like, "I know I do. I just have an issue getting there." And then our relationship started after that Bulletproof Mindset. I took you up on that 30-minute call, and over a year later, man, I'm doing better than what I was doing way back then. And I treat myself a lot better. Not that I was treating myself horribly, but you know how it is when you talk to yourself, and sometimes you still have to get on me with that because I don't feel like I'm telling myself things in a bad way. But from the outside looking in, I trust you enough to rely on your expertise, and I know you have my best interest at heart. So I really appreciate you. I really do.
Always, like I said, it's been phenomenal watching you grow and change and adjust, and all for the better. And ideally, like I said, when you get the man right, the world becomes right too. So that's my whole objective.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So, I guess, I mean, for the most part, that's all I really had for you. I mean, I just want people to utilize you the way that I have. Again, you're not just a guy that, not just a number, right? I don't feel like a number with you. I think for a while, man, if anything, just me personally, my own issues, and I'm speaking to this as a reason why people might not reach out to you is because they're not ready to kind of trust someone and let that information go. And I just, that time I spent with you, man, even now, like I'm telling you more and more as time has gone on, you see how much more I communicate with you. And I just wish that I would have did that straight from the gate. I feel like I could have been further along, and at the same time, I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of times people are afraid to be vulnerable. And certainly you shouldn't be vulnerable with everybody, but if you can find a trusted advisor, somebody you can confide in, it's a very healthy thing to be honest and share your feelings and what's going on. Now, when people do share how they're feeling and their thoughts and everything else, that makes it much easier for me to do my job. But just for your audience too, let me give you a few more tips, Gerard.
Yeah.
A couple things that we can do to in this time of need and in time of challenge. One of the biggest things right now is everybody starts to focus on the negative. They're watching the news, they're checking their social media feeds, they're doing all of those kinds of things. And instead, what you should be paying attention to is what you do have control over. The reason there's such a panic or people are panicking is because they're out of their comfort zone. This is pushing them in a place where like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to my clients? What's going to happen to my vendors? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? So everybody's freaking out because their sense of control has kind of been obliterated. But if you really write down, 5, 10 things that you do have complete control over. Can you make phone calls? Can you send emails? Can you create an ad? Can you do a webinar? I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's so many things that we could do to be proactive. Exactly. And in times like this, the people that are going to win at the end of this crisis are the ones that are preparing today. The ones that are trying to spread as much value as they possibly can. We're not trying to necessarily get sales right now. They're going to come. You might get a couple here and there, but this is really a time to get your face out there, share value, and help people. The next thing that I recommend is make sure that you are connected with a support group. Almost everybody has, 3, 4, 5, 12 people in their lives that they can lean on when things are challenging. This is that time. But instead of waiting for them to reach out to you, you need to reach out to them. Text your friends, email your family, voicemails, call them, just communicate right now. Now, first place you should communicate is your support system. Those people that are on your side. That's the first place. The second thing, almost equally as important, but it really is a secondary, is communicate with your clients. So if you got a bunch of customers, communicate with them, tell them you understand, you're concerned as well, but you're there to serve, you're there to protect them, you're there to help them, you're there to help them grow. The better your communication, the higher the probability that these people are not only going to stay with you, but chances are they'll do more business with you.
Definitely. And I started doing some of that a few days ago, and even doing this live here is me checking in with you and thinking about some other people that I haven't had the opportunity to talk to for a while, becoming inspired and figuring out how I can offer value. We talked about that training that I did with Billy the other day when he was talking about getting creative to offer some more value. So before you got on the call with me, I got these big white sheets on my wall, and I did have an offer where I was helping people with some things, but I'm like, how can I help them given this current situation versus how things are moving normally. So part of the reason I wanted to do this is because talking to people like you inspire me. And when I'm inspired, I feel like I'm dangerous. So I had to get my dose of Chris.
And you are very dangerous, my friend.
I appreciate
in all
that.
the best ways. Hey, let me leave you guys with one last thought. Our minds, we have something in our mind called a reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system is almost like a whiteboard. Whatever you write on that whiteboard is what it's going to gravitate towards. So here's what I want you guys to write on your whiteboard. All things positive. Make sure that you're putting positive information into your ears, into your mind. Spend time with positive people. Turn off the stinking news. Sure, be informed, watch it 20, 30 minutes a day, but don't sit there in front of the dang TV or your Facebook feed and just watching everything. So
just like
one after another. Quit swiping right or left or whatever you Tinder people do. This is no time. This is time to dig in, get serious, and help as many people as you possibly can. But I will leave you guys with that. Have faith. This too shall pass. And we're going to get to the other side. If anyone is interested, check out livelargeacademy.com. Free online training right there. You guys can check it out. And if you do want to schedule an appointment with me, there will be instructions right at the end of that presentation. So check it out.
One more thing I wanted to touch on was when you were talking about perfect time to get your face out there. So, I preach a lot about video, and I know as a marketer, you do too. I mean, you're not just a marketer, but, tell people the importance of getting on video, especially at a time like this with the social distancing. Now's the time to learn it if you haven't.
I mean, guys, look, this thing is a multi-million-dollar machine. Your smartphone that's sitting there gives you all the access that you could possibly need. You can shoot your videos, you can edit your videos, you can post your videos, Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. You've got all these different places that you can post your information. So make sure that you're getting it out there as much as you possibly can. The way that I like to look at it, like just what I'm doing now, I'm building my body of work little by little. I told Gerard the other day, I said, how do we build? Brick by boring brick. So continue to shoot videos, continue to pile it up, because eventually brick by boring brick is going to turn into a mansion. So stay the course, do videos as much as you can, and make your focus, how can I help people? How can I serve? If you're doing those two things consistently, it's just going to eventually come back and reward you as well.
Love it, man. Love it, man. Well, I appreciate your time, guys. This won't be the last time you see Chris. He's a big part of my life. I love you, man. I'm not afraid
Love
to
you too,
say that in
brother.
front of a whole bunch of guys, girls, whoever it is. I love you and I appreciate everything you bring to us as a community and to me as a person and through the tough times, especially last year that I faced, man. Definitely made things a lot easier. So, nothing but respect.
You're the man, dude. Hey, prayers to everybody out there. Stay safe. Wash your dang hands. And let's get through this all together, okay?
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.
See everybody.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right, guys. Chris just rolled out. Right now, we're still live. So, what I wanted to do was one, any feedback would be great on what you guys thought about the live with Chris. Chris is my man. Also, I'm going to see if I can hit up a few of my other friends that I've been now live on your channel testing software. Oh, it's not supposed to be testing software, but we'll fix that. But a few other people I was thinking about hitting up and seeing if they'll get on the Zoom. But if you guys have any questions, man, now's a good time to ask. But you definitely should have asked while Chris was up here. See, there's 6 comments. It was amazing. Awesome. Mike said he could hear us. He could hear you, but not him. Oh, so those were some of the comments from earlier. But one of the things that I wanted to do was one, bring back bulletproof mindset, right? It's been a year and some change. I've actually been seeing some of my old clips on Facebook. I'm not much of a poster on Facebook or Instagram. It just seems by the time I try to write a post, I'm kind of like checked out and already doing something else. So it's always so much easier for me to get on and do video. Even if I don't know what I want to say, I just know that it's time to shoot a video. I'll just get on and start talking. And then if people come on, I will get their vibe, get their energy, and just go from there. But in the chat, man, there's 3 folks up here now, and there's going to be more. But what are you guys doing to kind of combat these tough times? You guys can put it down in the chat. And here's what's going to happen too, just because I'm getting back into the flow of this whole getting on video regularly thing. Like I was saying yesterday, just because people haven't seen me on my personal page, people haven't really seen me on my business page. Well, if you're on my business page, you will, but not many people see that. I only have a few hundred folks, and Facebook's going to restrict the likes, and I'm not pushing those and whatnot. But I've been doing video at least 2 to 3 times a week, live videos, between getting with other business owners I've met on LinkedIn, people here locally. I'll do some videos with them. Plus, I got something locally where we interview restaurant owners. It doesn't really take much of our time up per week. It helps them, and it's really great to tell stories, man, and it keeps me sharp on video. So if you guys have anything that you want to talk about bulletproof mindset wise, let me know. What I'm going to do too is if we start running low on questions, instead of cutting off the live stream, because I don't want to really cut the live stream until I leave the office, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up running some old clips of something, right? I don't even have these clips uploaded. So this is live. I mean, shit's going to go wrong. Shit's not going to work. But at the same time, like, as you can see in the background, you have this bulletproof mindset. Nothing really matters, man. You just got to keep moving forward. And that doesn't mean that you're always right. It doesn't mean that you're always wrong either. And at the same time, it just means to me, that no matter what happens, you're going to consistently move forward and go after your goals. And at a time like this, that doesn't change. Right now, yeah, times are definitely difficult. you know they're shutting down a lot of things when it comes to the restaurant industry, which I have clients in that industry. They're still alive, and at the same time some of them have been shut all the way down. Some of them have just gone straight to doing takeout and to go, and that might get shut down eventually. Like places like Maryland have shut that all the way down. So there's different things that they can do. If not, at the very least, if they're shut down and they can't serve anybody food, at the very least they can get up there and start telling their story. Or there's so many different things that they can do. But right now is the best time ever. If you're not already on video, get on video. Like you guys are hearing me say like stuttering, or I wouldn't say stuttering, but not really fully, like my sentences aren't always together. I mean, but no one really cares and no one remembers that unless it's just like a total meltdown, which I don't suggest you melt down, and I will never do that. But it's nothing to be scared about when it comes to getting on video. And again, now is the perfect time to get on. Like some of my networking events have switched up to doing what do they call it? Yeah, Zoom. Just this is a Zoom actually. This is a Zoom with some other software kind of mixed in with it. But all this is a Zoom. Got a text from my boy Pocky here. But yeah, all it is a Zoom. And of course, I dressed it up. But even if you don't dress it up and you just have those 2 boxes on the side without all that extra stuff, having conversations. There's going to be so much more screen time happening right now. I have a screen counter on my phone, and I think usually about no more than 2 hours a day. My timer usually is. I try not to, just get caught up scrolling on social media and playing on the phone. But there's some people that do 4 to 6 hours on a daily, and with them sitting at the house, that's about to go up to 8 to 12 while they're binge watching, while they're doing everything else. So yeah, there's like I said, there's 4 folks on now. It would be nice if Facebook told you who it was. Maybe if I went into the thing, I can see. So let me see who's in here so I can call you out. And with them sitting at the house, I wish you can click into the video without the sound coming on. That would be nice. Um, so I know who was up here. What's going on? Dave Smith. What's going on? Tech Smith. How you doing, man? Are you guys still working, Dave, or are you guys kind of chilling in the house? What's going on with you guys over there, Dave? We got 5 folks on here. So what do y'all? That's the thing that trips me out, right? Is people will be on, and maybe you're in a position you can't say anything. If that's the case, that's cool. But even when I do my giveaways, like I would say every other Friday. I actually have the shirt on now. I had a yellow shirt on. The yellow shirt doesn't really work good with the green screen. Not to mention, I was writing in purple on the walls and just swiped my shirt, so that wasn't going to look good being on here. But I'll get on there and people will say, "Oh, I'm just up here to hear your voice," and I'm just like, that's cool. And at the same time, like, I don't know, interact. So Dave says here and there. All right, cool. Um, Next, matter of fact, Dave, I joined. What's the Synapse group I joined? Safe House Project. So we actually have a Zoom tomorrow morning instead of meeting in person. Are you guys? I'm assuming you guys have switched over to Zoom as well. But now's the time, man. Dave actually is pretty cool. He has a company called TechSmith where he actually does his own wraps, and he talks about basically hiding wires and installing things with electronics. And I'm waiting to see Dave's video as an ad circulating around Virginia Beach. That's what I'm waiting to see. But in the meantime, while no one else is, let's see, no one else is saying nothing besides Dave. Dave says working on new rhymes, about to hit them vids. Yeah, man, freaking do it. You're a beast. And like I said before, man, start experimenting with some instrumentals that are royalty free. You'll be on there. Okay, cool. Yeah, start experimenting with some instrumentals that are royalty free. You got some options on YouTube, so you don't have to buy beats. And then there's some subscriptions where you can get unlimited what else called audios, so you can keep your thing going. But one thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna play the intro because y'all haven't seen this in a while. Let's see, how do I do that? We're back, but essentially, is that working? Yeah, we're back. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna run some replays just for the heck of it. And while I do that, also I'm gonna hit up a few people. Actually, I know one guy in particular I've been meaning to hit up, my boy, who's killing it right now. Let me text him right now, and if I can get him on, then we'll go on. And if not, I'm gonna play some replays while I get some work done, and then when I get inspired, come back and talk. So let's see, what's his name? If y'all don't know him, my boy Rahul Aleem. Rahul, he is the founder of Custom Creatives. Yes, I'm hitting him up right now. And if he's free, I'm gonna bring him on for a few minutes and let y'all hear from him because he's a beast. This guy, just watching him and learning from him and just understanding his story, where he came from. I want to say Rahul, I interviewed him on Bulletproof Mindset number, I want to say it was 81. It was in the 80s, but it was really, really, really interesting, man. And he just has a no BS attitude. I love the way he just takes action and no excuses, man. One of the lines that he says a lot that, and I say this. Wait a second, did you take it back yet? Nope, not yet. But he said something along the lines of winners don't wait, winners do it now. And anytime I think about saying I'm gonna wait and do something, I think about him saying that or another line like that. But he's a friend of mine, so I like to think of him. And then another thing he says is he's like, entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs are eating shit in the dark. When no one else is out there doing nothing, we're out there eating shit. So, and that's the truth, man. The truth, man. Like I tell you, I get up usually 3:40 in the morning, 3:42, and it's dark as hell. And I'm in the dark just doing what I need to do in order to get things done. And Rahul is not available at the moment, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. In the meantime, let me see about loading up a video clip for y'all's viewing pleasure. For anybody who's going to stay on, then I'm going to go back through and fix the names on my post. I'm still learning the new software, and I thought I changed the post to Bulletproof Mindset Live, but it didn't work. So let's go with, let's see what we got here. We have some videos. I actually just shot a video for one of our clients yesterday, and it was pretty wild. I ended up being a spokesperson. Oh, maybe. I had a whole situation was called the GAVE Marathon. And for you guys don't know what GAVE is, stands for gratitude, appreciation, visualization every day. And what we're going to do is we're going to run the GAVE Marathon. Starting at episode 1. I really rather do the bulletproof mindsets, but at this very moment, I do not remember where they are on my computer. I thought I saved more of them, but I just can't seem to find them. Maybe it's under interviews. Hold on 1 second. And if you guys want to stay on, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. All I'm doing is getting myself back in the swing. Like I said, video is everything, right? And I do video, don't get me wrong. And at the same time, I haven't been doing as much as what I used to do, yet I'm still doing it. So you guys got to get with the program. Get your own video. Stop playing around. So I did find my Bulletproof Mindset episodes. So let's see. Matter of fact, because Chris was on here, we're going to run his replay of the interview I had with Chris, and this is the start of our relationship. Because I've met Chris, want to say, I went to San Diego for the first time. Well, the first time was in 2010, but the first time for business was August of 2017, I want to say, or August of 20, yeah, it was August of 2017 I went. And when I went, I met Chris. We talked a little bit, but, at the same time, he was what we consider an OG. And I just didn't get to hang out with him that much, didn't know him all that well. So, and there was a bunch of people that were great there, right? So, but I did get to meet him. But again, once we got on this interview, that's when I really got to know the real him, man. And I'm grateful for the fact that he was number 63. So I had the number wrong, but all that led to me getting with him, which led to where I am now. And I'm just grateful to have a guy like that on my journey. So let's see. Let's go ahead and load Chris up. All right. It's going to drop down
right over live. What's going on this morning, Chris Patterson?
Hey, thank you for having me, Gerard. I certainly appreciate it.
For those who don't know, I just wanted to introduce my guest this morning. This is Chris Patterson, CEO of Interchanges and founder of Live Large, the coaching program. And he's been interviewing some super high profile people, never mind the fact that he's a G himself. And I just wanted to welcome him and everybody else to Bulletproof Mindset 63 today. And we're going to be talking about the importance of coaching. Chris has the Live Large coaching program, and he's been helping a lot of people around the country. And I just wanted him to talk a little bit more about the importance of coaching and how he's making an impact with the coaching program that he has.
Great. Thank you for having me, brother.
Definitely.
It's nice to be on your show and with your audience, and I'm here to answer any questions you got, so go for it.
All right. Well, first question I have from you is, how did you start deciding, or when did you start deciding that coaching was critical to your success?
Great question. I actually ended up having an incredible opportunity. There was a gentleman named Zig Ziglar. A lot of the older folks would know exactly who he is, and a lot of the younger people are still learning. But Zig Ziglar was kind of the biggest thought leader of his time. He sold out countless arenas all over the world. He impacted over 250 million people with his message, with his life, with his training. And he wrote 33 books, countless downloads. So you think of the biggest thought leader on the planet right now. And back in the 80s and the 90s, he was that guy. And through a wild set of circumstances, I actually saw him at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Michigan in 1995. My dad kind of dragged me there kicking and screaming. Little did I know it was going to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. And so I went to his success seminar, and I was way up in the nosebleed section, heard him speak. And I looked over at my dad and I said, Dad, who in the world is this guy? You know, everyone seems to love him, and he's dynamic and he's fun. And he said, well, he said, if you're going to pay attention to anybody, he said, you really want to pay attention to this guy. His name is Zig Ziglar. So I did, and I ended up getting his tapes, and I listened to those tapes until they wore out. Like literally, I think I listened to them 16, 17, 18 times each. And it just started to change my life. It changed my mindset. It changed my trajectory, my outputs, my outlook. And then I ended up meeting him in Dallas. He walked into the health club that I was running at that time. And, you know, no one set it up. It was just kind of a fluke thing. He happened to be in the same city I was in. He walked in, and one of my employees said, Chris, Zig Ziglar's here. 18 times. You know?
Wow.
And I was kind of like, shut up. You know, it was like, get out of my office, you know. And he said, no, for real, he's here. So I showed him around the club and sold him a membership. And then he said, Chris, I also need some personal training. I said, well, Zig, you're in luck. I'll make you a deal. I said, I'll train you 3 times a week for free. I'll work on your physical health if you just spend 1 hour a week with me working on my mental health.
That's a hell of a deal.
That's exactly what he said.
That's a hell of a deal.
So I ended up being mentored by Zig for 12 months, and I was probably about 27, 28 years old at the time. Changed my life. Everything improved from there. My relationships, my finances, my career, my personal goals. I mean, everything just completely changed. And ever since then, I've really just tried to share the Ziglar philosophies and then all my experience as well. So that's how I got into it.
Damn, that's pretty dope. Real quick in the chat, we have Christina Mignette. She's been watching for a long time. She said, good morning, Chris. Al Eddie says, what's up? Will Lucian says, what's up? Damo Walker says, keep doing your thing, brother. That's a guy I used to work with back in the shipyard. Amazing guy. So 27 years old, you got Zig Ziglar walking into your place. You make the deal of a lifetime, which was a damn steal. I wish you'd have, wow, that was a steal. And
yep.
Like it just transformed you. So after going through the coaching with him, you decided that you wanted to do something similar like that to help other folks?
You know, there was kind of a pinball, it was almost like a pinball with me for a couple of years, you know, trying to figure it out. And I think that happens to a lot of young people. Yeah. And, you know, they beat themselves up, but I really don't think they should. I bounced around from job to job, just trying to figure out what I wanted to be. And it was in 2001 that I started my company, Interchanges. And, you know, I started it out of my wife's dining room. The reason I say it was my wife's dining room is because she kept saying, you got to get the heck out of my dining room.
That's their dining room.
I knew it was hers, so I had to get out. So eventually I saved up enough money to get my own little building, and then started my digital marketing agency from there, and that was going on 18 years now.
Wow.
And, so the company's been phenomenal. Had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of crazy twists and turns. But, you know, here we are. We've survived, and we're thriving right now. And, you know, our measure of achievement is how much money we're making our customers. So we've kept track for the last 18 years, and right now we're at $1.4 billion of revenue that we've generated for our people.
$1 billion.
Billion.
That's pretty good.
Careful, Gerard. I don't want to have to shoot you with my laser beam.
What do you say? The sharks got freaking lasers on their heads.
That's right.
1.4 is a lot. And so when you started back, you said 2001?
Yeah, 2001, I actually officially started my agency. And this is back before no one knew what SEO was or PPC, or certainly Facebook wasn't even born yet. I mean, so it was, I literally was going door to door selling websites. I was trying to convince people to stop using yellow pages and put up a website. So, I mean, that's how I call myself a dinosaur in the internet industry, because that's where I was. So pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. 2001, I just graduated high school, man. You don't even look like you're that old.
I just turned 49. Thank you for saying that.
49?
49 years young. That's right.
I would have thought you were just breaking 40, man.
Yeah, that's why I like you. You can think whatever you want as long as it's younger than 49.
Definitely younger than 49. So you started back then, like you said, you were competing basically against Yellow Pages. And talk about the mindset you had to go through, that you had to have to overcome those objections, because people are used to what they're used to, right?
Yeah. Well, it was really the first time I ventured out into starting my own company. And it's a huge step for anybody. I mean, anybody that, goes from a steady paycheck, steady hours, steady benefits, all that kind of stuff, and says, no, I don't want any of that. I'm going to go ahead and run myself into the ground for the next 3-4 years to try to make something work. That's what I did. And, one of the lessons that I remember so clearly is getting cash flow coming in was really difficult. So one of the first mindset shifts that I had was, I need to bite off more than I can chew, and then I need to chew like crazy. And it didn't matter if I was taking on bad clients. That's not ideal long term. I'm not recommending that. Yeah. But you got to stay afloat when you first start. You can't be, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did whatever it took. I busted my butt for the first 3 years. And, around year 4, all of a sudden I had a couple more employees. The workload got less on me. We got a little smarter with what we were doing. The internet was changing, so we started doing more marketing. We started doing, a lot more, monthly retainers and things like that. But, the mindset was really, hey, I got to do whatever it takes, because I had no plan B. And I think that was one of the best ideas or thoughts that I had back then is, I don't want a plan B. So I want this thing to either sink or swim without me. First 3 years. And that motivated me every single day to get out of bed and go, let's hustle. Let's make this thing happen, because I don't have an alternative. We got a little smarter with what we were doing.
I think a lot of people get lost in that. And we talked about, I can't remember who I had on, but same thing. Plan B's kind of give you it gives you an out. You just got to be all in. It's all or nothing. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of people in our space that end up quitting, people that think about quitting. And to me, it's, if you're doing this, you're doing this. I mean, if you find, I guess there's a certain point where it doesn't make sense, but it can't be because you just quit internally. It has to be the right situation. You just have to keep pushing forward no matter what. So you did that, like you said, after the 4-year mark. So I guess revenue wise, you went from the first 3 to 4 years taking on whatever you can take, and then around the 4th year, things just started really looking up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 4th year, revenue was still tight. Revenue was still tough, but I had the right people in place. I now had the right systems. I had the right product and service. So it was just a matter of scaling from there. And I think it was about year 5, we ended up being a 7-figure agency. And, we've been a 7-figure agency now for the last 14 years and, continue to grow. So it's been a process, but, I think the people that are rewarded are the ones that can stand the most pain and continue to move forward. And again, that's another reason that I love coaching, is because there's so many people that are so close to success. And often it's really just they're one step away. The fastest way to success, by the way, is replacing bad habits with good habits.
Yeah.
The challenge is most people don't know how to do that. So that's where I come in. So a lot of people will eventually figure it out. They'll figure out how to go from, A to B and expand their life quickly. A lot of people don't figure it out. And that's kind of where I come in to help them speed up the process of success.
And to add to that point, there's so many different A's to B's. You can be quick on this A to B, and then this A to B will take you forever. Like you said, you can get to where you want to go. Like for me, for instance, when I couldn't pay for coaching, I'm still going to get there, but coaching just shortens that gap to get you where you want to be. It's not necessary. I wouldn't say it's a shortcut, but it just gives you a direct path, which I guess technically it still is a shortcut.
I like the word shortcut. In fact, my dad, when I was young, he used to get real upset with me because I was always trying to figure out how to rake the leaves faster or, do things more efficiently. And he looked at me one day and he said, "Son, are you always going to take the shortcut in life?" And I said, "If I can find it, you're darn right I'm going to." So, nothing's ever changed. Again, that's why I've hired Billy Jean. That's why